The leader of our cult was my grandmother. Beautiful, charismatic, rodeo queen, bride of the year. Here's Jima. So she's living in the Hollywood Hills and she doesn't want to be with my grandfather anymore. But as a Mormon woman, she doesn't want to get divorced. She just wants to have her own home in Utah. So when God starts revealing to my mother that we're being chased by a satanic cult, then Jima is like, great, I will save the grandchildren and we must go to Utah and buy a fancy house. And things escalate quickly. Now, she had like a following before there was a following. And in her office, she'd have her desk with her telephone, and then there was a white couch next to it. She would have me sit down on the white couch as like a little kid, and I would sit and listen to her phone calls. So she'd call the first person. She would tell them the whole story in gruesome detail. The children were ritualistically abused by Satan worshippers, surrounded by their gang, and their spine was broken over and over and over. Needles drilled into their eyeballs. Their brains are nearly broken. They could be triggered by a satanic symbol at any time. They'll never be able to have a normal relationship. They'll probably be highly triggered on their wedding nights. And the Satan worshippers are currently chasing us to unalive the children. Side note, in Mormonism, fasting, going without food or water, is like a strong prayer. So then Jima would say, the only way the children will stay alive is because of your fasting and prayers. Then she'd hang up the phone, call the next person. This would go on for hours. And I would beg my grandmother, like, will you please not tell everyone in detail all these horrible things that have happened to me? And she would just remind me the only reason that I was alive is because all of these people's fasting and prayers. So during the week, for hours on end, this was the ritual. And many of these people we were going to Mormon church with on Sunday. And they didn't know that I was sitting there listening to the whole conversation. But because of what they had been told, they would spot me in church and their eyes would just well up with tears. And they would walk over, overcome with emotion and say things like, oh, you poor exotic children.